Transfer costs refer to the costs that we'll incur as buyers when it comes to the transferring of a property from the previous buyer to yourself.
Now, here's where a lot of people are not understanding transfer costs and transfer duty. So now transfer duty is a tax, as Neo did actually speak right now. It's a tax levied on properties above a certain amount.
Transfer costs refer to the costs that we'll incur as buyers when it comes to the transferring of a property from the previous buyer to yourself. So when I'll be purchasing a property that had a previous owner, so what will then happen is that they need to transfer it from the previous owner to myself. So I'll be liable to then pay transfer cost.
So I recently got a quote, right? I recently got a quote from lawyers, and they were explaining and breaking down to me what or which costs should I actually be anticipating when I'm actually going to be purchasing the property, right? So now the costs that I'm incurring, firstly, right? Now this is going to expose lawyers. If you are a conveyancer or a lawyer in this live or watching live, these are the costs that I'm incurring as a property buyer right now. So the first one is the electronic document generated to charge, right? That's 350. Then the second one is to obtain transfer duty receipt from SARS, right? That's going to be 300 bucks. And then we have transfer fees. So transfer fees are what's going to the lawyer. What's going to the lawyer, it's 10,260. So that's what's going to the lawyer. And then we have the deeds office fee, which is 755. We have the deeds office search, which is 250. We also have the rates clearance certificate. To get that, that's 300 rand. And then we have our postages and petties, which is 500. Now everything amounts to 15,000. That's transfer costs. Now remember, Neo did explain earlier on that when you're going to purchase a property, you're going to be facing two attorneys. The first one, it's your transferring attorney. The second one is going to be your bond registration attorney. What's the difference now between the transferring attorney and the transfer duty?
When we're looking at the difference between the two, right, we are saying that one is responsible for transferring the property from the previous owner to the next.
Yeah.
So whatever property that you'll be buying that did have a previous owner, you're liable for paying that.
Of course.
Now, on the video, we were speaking about transfer duty. When we're referring to transfer duty, it's a tax by the government on the property if it passes a specific threshold. So that's the difference between the two. And again, there's a third one whereby we still need to be aware of it, but I'll go later on it. Or should we do it now?
No, we'll do later.
Okay, that's VAT. So we'll also explain how does VAT affect the buyer and the sale itself.
So now, here's where a lot of people are not understanding transfer costs and transfer duty. So now, transfer duty is a tax, as Neo did actually speak right now. It's a tax levied on properties above a certain amount. After the budget speech, they said that the taxes or transfer duty will be applicable to properties above 1.1 million. So now, above 1.1 million, this means that anything above 1.1 million. So you're looking at 1,101.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you're looking at those properties, the transferring duty will be based on that amount that is above that one. So now, if we're saying that we bought a property, right, that's worth 1,200,000, 1.2 million, right, minus the 1.1 million.
So why are we minusing the 1.1 million?
The reason why we're minusing 1.1 million is because we want to understand that, remember, the tax is saying that anything above the 1.1 million. So meaning that the first 1.1 million, you're not charged tax on that. You only charged after that 1.1 million. Hence, we're saying that the 1,200,000 minus the 1.1 million.
Yeah.
How much are we getting?
I have 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah.
Now, the 100,000, that's what we're going to be charged on. So for the first bracket, it says that it's 3% above 1.1.
Yeah.
So now, if I'm saying 100,000 multiplied by 3%, I'm getting 3,000. And that's how your transfer costs are actually going to be charged from the 1st of March.
And looking at it from that tax bracket, right, the reason why we didn't add it to any basic amount, it's because it fell within the 3%. So when you're looking at the table itself, it says that 3% of any value above 1.1 Whereas if you just look at the bracket right below, it then tells you that 12,375 plus 6% of the value amount X.
If we're speaking about properties that are new developments, right? So with your new developments, you're not going to be paying any transfer costs, right? You're not paying any transfer costs unless, right? Unless if the property is over the 1.1 million. If the property is over 1.1 million, that's when you're going to be having a problem that the developer that you're purchasing the property from, are they a VAT vendor? If they are a VAT vendor, that you're going to be paying 15% of the purchase price. So the question was that, is it necessary for me to be running away from transfer costs and saying that I'd rather pay VAT? Now, if you're looking at the VAT situation...
That's a good example. So what we're going to do, right, we're comparing both, paying for VAT versus paying for transfer duty. Right?
Yeah.
That's the example that you do. Perfect.
So now, someone is saying that they would rather pay for VAT than the transfer duty. But guys, remember, I just want to put this and make it clear, right? It's not a choice that you can say that I want to pay VAT or I want to pay transfer cost. It's going to be dependent on the particular situation. So we're saying that if the property is a new development and it is above the 1.1 million, then you're going to be paying VAT if that person is a VAT vendor, the person that's selling the property.
Can we ask this question to the audience, right?
Yeah.
As which one do you think is more expensive? Right? So our question to you guys is that, which one do you think is more expensive if I'll be buying a property? So there's two guys, they're both buying a property, and then one is going to be paying. Which one do you want this time? I'm always giving him bad examples, and so this time I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I want the transfer.
So Lebu, he's buying a new development worth 1.5, and I'm also buying a property worth 1.5. However, you will be paying transfer duty, and I will be paying VAT. Which one do you think will be more expensive? So they're both going for 1.5. One is paying for VAT, the other one is paying for transfer duty.
So now remember, we said that VAT is going to be calculated based on the purchase price, right?
Yeah.
So what they simply do is to say 1.5 million multiplied by VAT, which is sitting at 15% right now. How much is Neo paying? 225. Neo's bowling, guys. So Neo would be paying 225,000 for VAT. Now remember, we haven't really considered how much he would be paying if he took this property on bond. So if it is a bonded property, then remember, he has to pay the bond attorneys, right?
Yeah.
For them to register the bond into his name.
So can we say, to make this example better, can we just say cash then? So that we can add this to the 1.5. And now we found out that in order to calculate VAT inclusive, understand how much you would have paid for it if we were buying it cash. So it would be the 1.5 million plus the VAT, which was at 225,000, of which then I would have paid 1,725,000. That's how much I would have paid for this property.
Yeah.
And now we're about to do the big reveal there.
If I was to purchase a property, right? So Neo went to them and they told him that you don't have to pay transfer costs, but you only have to pay VAT, right? He'd be paying the 225,000. Now, if I purchase the normal property whereby I don't have to look at developers, I'm just going at it straight, I would have actually paid 53,451.50 cents. Now, if I'm adding that to the 1.5 million, I'm getting a whopping 1,553,451. Now, these expenses are really important for you to understand. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that whenever you're purchasing a property, these are the costs that you're going to be incurring at the start, right? At the start. Now, the problem is that if you don't, or if you didn't consider these expenses, you might not even get the property. So now, it's important. I think this is the reason why we did actually post that video, that guys, it's important for you to understand what you're paying for and when are you going to be paying for it. So that's how you'd go about to calculating your transfer duties.